Alrighty team, we're back at it again with another 12 theme ideas. This time they are themed for August, but of course you can use them at any point in the year. It is your journal and you can do as you want to. As always, we're just going in and putting in some recommended colour palettes for each of the different themes we have. And as usual, these are just suggestions, you do not have to go with them. But if you did want to use those palettes in particular, each of the pen colours is listed in the description box. The majority of the colour palettes we have today seem to be a little bit more eclectic and have a little bit more kind of colour contrast rather than being monochromatic or gradient based. And in terms of the themes themselves, I think we've got a good mix between some more summery related ones and ones that are suitable regardless of wherever you are. Our first theme idea though is a sandcastle theme as related to Sandcastle Day, which is observed on the first Saturday in August every year. Some other fun additions that you could have in this kind of a theme would be things like shells or starfish and other flotsam and jetsam that you might find at the beach, along with the utensils you might need to make a sandcastle. So buckets, spades, that kind of stuff. Sandcastles are actually a lot easier to draw than I initially thought they were going to be. You can find some really good and easy tutorials online just by doing a quick Google search of something like easy sandcastle drawing or easy sandcastle drawing tutorial, things like that. Our next theme idea is related to National Roller Coaster Day, which is celebrated on the 16th of August, and this is to do a roller coaster theme. I think that doing a roller coaster theme would be really fun to have a Dutch door with, so cutting away the top edge of the page to be kind of like, you know, a curly edge to represent the roller coaster track. So kind of similar to the decoration we're putting down on this page, just done at a bit bigger of a scale. The nice part about a roller coaster theme is that you can really go with any colour palette you want, because roller coasters come in all different colours. Typically though, because it's supposed to be, you know, a bit of a thrill-seeking, kind of like, wow, big impact kind of ride, usually the colour theme is brighter, which is why I opted in for a bright green, a bright purple, and a bright pink. I personally find roller coasters quite fun, but I also get very nervous to go on them by myself, and typically if I ever go anywhere that has roller coasters, I do have to go on them myself, because it seems that none of my peers enjoy roller coasters. It's fine, I'll just go on it and get scared by myself. Anyway, now despite it being a classic, I have not read this book, but Frankenstein Day is celebrated on August 30th, so you could go with a Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster theme. I know that Frankenstein was the scientist and the monster was Frankenstein's monster. From my understanding, it didn't have a formal name, it was just called The Monster, which I guess given it says The Monster, it's kind of a formal name, but anyway. For this one though, you can see that rather than drawing it in myself, I used a colouring page that I just printed off using my Fomemo thermal printer. I made very good use of that in this video to print off some of the themes that I didn't feel quite as confident drawing, especially the ones that would have more humanoid decoration, or ones that are beloved characters that I did not want to stuff up the dimensions of. It's good to note that when colouring over the paper of the thermal printer, the saturation won't be quite the same as using it directly on the page, but because of the finish of that thermal printing, it's actually really easy to do blending on it. The ink doesn't sink into the page quite as readily as it would if I just did it directly onto the notebook. Using that printer again though, our next theme idea is a sea serpents theme, and this one is related to National Sea Serpent Day, which is on August 7th. I did not feel super confident in drawing one of these myself, or drawing one that I thought would actually kind of capture the idea I was going for in my mind. So again, I just printed off a colouring page. The nice part about using colouring pages rather than pre-coloured imprintables is that you can dictate the colour palette yourself without having to do any kind of like photoshopping or photo manipulation. They say that sea serpents were possibly inspired by the oarfish, which can grow to something like 50 feet long, which very much highlights the reason that I am fairly scared of the ocean. Like, we don't know what's down there. Kind of freaks me out. But the idea of sea serpents and the mythology surrounding them I do think is pretty cool, and thus I think it would make a very good theme. Another one that I think would make an excellent theme is that of a Spider-Man theme, with Spider-Man Day being celebrated on August 1st. I'm pretty sure that Spider-Man is my favourite superhero, and there's quite a lot of possibilities for this theme, just given how many Spider-Men there are. If you've seen Into the Spider-Verse or the second movie, then you will very much know that that's the case. Or if you're a fan of the traditional Spider-Man media, I think it would be cool to see somebody do a Spider-Woman theme, or like Ghost Spider, or really just any theme related to Into the Spider-Verse, because the artistic style in that film is really cool. Our next theme idea is a nice and simple one, and this is doing a bows theme, or you could do a bow ties theme, because both of those days are celebrated in August. For the decoration on this one, I just decided to use the one bow washi tape that I have, which is of course from Simply Gilded. This one was a collaboration between Simply Gilded and Ultra and Olive. But if you have any bow washi tapes, then August might be a good time to get them out and use them. All about us using our stashes. Now, while Spider-Man is my favourite hero, I'd have to say that my favourite anime, or anime hero I suppose, would have to be Sailor Moon. I love Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is the best. I have many fond memories of watching Sailor Moon when I was younger, and not so much younger when I decided to rewatch the series in my adult years. But again, for this one, I did not want to stuff up any of the dimensions trying to draw Sailor Moon myself, so I did opt to do a printout. But in this one, you can see we have Sailor Moon and her cat Luna. Now I really just want to rewatch it again. A Sailor Moon theme, though, could be really fun. You could just focus on Sailor Moon herself, or maybe Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, or go through each of the different Sailor Moon characters for each of the layouts in your setup. So we could have a Sailor Mercury spread, and a Sailor Jupiter spread, so on and so forth. Plus it would give you a good opportunity to play around with more colours. Having said that Spider-Man is my favourite superhero and Sailor Moon is my favourite anime, I'd love to know what yours is. Who's your favourite superhero? Or what's your favourite anime? Our next theme idea though is that of peaches, because August is National Peach Month in the US. Peaches make for a really nice and easy theme because peaches themselves are fairly easy to draw. They're kind of heart-shaped but a little bit more squashed, not so aggressively pointy on the bottom. And while I've only really focused on the pinker tone of the peaches, then the green for the leaves, you can also bring in some yellow shades because oftentimes peaches do have some more yellow coloration in their skin and in their flesh. I always find peaches kind of hard to eat. I don't really like biting into the kind of fuzzy outside of them, but I do quite like peach flavored things, especially iced tea. Peach iced tea is great. Despite there being a fair few days of appreciation related to animals in August, so things like Black Cat Appreciation, Dog Day, Honeybee Day, the one I decided to highlight in this video was World Elephant Day, which is on August 12th. Elephants are really impressive animals, and I think that they would make a great theme. I've opted in for a little elephant, like a little baby elephant, having some fun, spraying itself with some water, and like all of our themes here, you could go with something a little bit more realistic, or something a little more cartoony, like I've done here. Elephants, again, are another one that you can find some really good and easy drawing tutorials online if you wanted to draw them out yourself. Now, technically speaking, August 15th is National No SpongeBob Day, because there was an episode where everybody leaves SpongeBob at home so that they can go and have festivities without him. But it could be a good opportunity to do a SpongeBob theme. I mean, technically, if you wanted to do a SpongeBob theme that actually honoured No SpongeBob Day, you could just draw every character that wasn't SpongeBob. But I feel like he and Patrick are probably the easiest characters to capture the essence of without actually having to draw something that's truly a representation of the character. And of course, to find things to talk about in this voiceover, I went and started kind of lightly researching SpongeBob SquarePants, and it was very interesting to learn that the person who created SpongeBob SquarePants used to work on Rocko's Modern Life, and that show was certainly something. Like, let me know if you remember Rocko's Modern Life. All I remember is the turtle being like, I'm nauseous. Anyway, moving on to our next theme idea. On August 22nd, we have National Tooth Fairy Day, so a tooth fairy theme could be a lot of fun. For the colour palette in this one, I was kind of thinking, you know, the classic colours of toothpaste. So you have like the white, which I just did as a light grey, and then the red stripe and the blue stripe. So that's kind of what I was going for, rather than the more typical kind of fairy-esque colours. I mean, I know fairies are all in different colours, but honestly, when I think of a fairy, it's usually pink, especially a tooth fairy. I don't know why a tooth fairy in my mind would be pink, but in this one, I very much wanted the colour palette to be toothpaste. The nice part about a theme like this, though, is that you don't have to try and make it look true to a character, unlike Spider-Man, Sailor Moon, SpongeBob, where you'd probably try and make it look fairly similar to the original characters. In this one, you can just do generic fairy, some teeth, maybe a toothbrush for a wand, that kind of thing. It would actually be really cute to make the tooth fairy like a little tooth with wings and a little crown. That would be kind of sweet. Or if you wanted, you could take more of a kind of horror-esque approach and make it kind of like a dark evil fairy that's coming to steal teeth Really just depends on what your vibe is. But our next theme idea is another fun one. This one is related to Hawaiian Shirt Day, which is celebrated on the third Friday in August. So you could of course do a Hawaiian shirt theme. Now this could actually feature like the shirt cut out, or what I decided to do is just focus on the print itself. Rather than trying to draw it out myself though, I just went and did a Google search of Hawaiian shirt pattern, or Hawaiian shirt print, and then just printed out a couple different colorations of the same pattern. You can probably find scrapbooking paper packs of Hawaiian shirt prints. I just didn't have any on hand, so doing the Google search and printing it out myself worked perfectly fine. Ripped paper makes for a really nice easy decoration in your journal, especially if you're not feeling super motivated to do the drawing or not super confident about being able to do it, or at least do it in a way that kind of realizes your vision, if that kind of makes sense. As said, these theme ideas have been specifically picked because they are related to August, but I do also have a bunch of other videos related to other themes, which would be worth checking out if you are still looking for inspiration. Those ones are linked in the playlist we have on screen here, or if you were looking for more August inspiration specifically, the playlist at the bottom has all of my previous August setups. Click or tap on either of those and I'll see you over there.